everyone. Thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk about something that I got a chance to do last weekend. So last week was my wife's birthday and we got a chance to go to Disney. We've never been to Disneyland before. We actually went to Disney World for our honeymoon, but we hadn't had a chance to go to Disney. And so while we were there, I asked if I could kind of hijack the first little bit of time that we were there and do something that I have wanted to do since I was a child. Not because it's been there since I was a child, but because I've just wanted to immerse myself in this world since I was a child, and that's going to Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge, if you don't know, is the Star Wars land in Disneyland. It opened a couple of months ago, and through a bunch of random circumstances and me having a lot of extra play money, I was actually able to do something I didn't think I would be able to do, and that is to build my very own lightsaber. This is my lightsaber. There are many like it, but this one's mine. So when you go to Galaxy's Edge, one of the things that I really appreciate about it is the immersive experience that you have. In the rest of Disneyland, all the cast members are dressed pretty much the same. In Galaxy's Edge, they're dressed differently. They talk differently. They say things like bright suns for good morning and rising moons for good evening. And until the spire, as you leave their shops, they talk about credits. And the whole thing is just really immersive. Like literally, even when you go into the world, into Galaxy's Edge, you kind of go down and up into this area, and the whole area is blocked off. Basically what you do is you have this land inside of Disney where you can't hear any of the rest of the park. You can't really hear what's going on outside of the park, nothing. And all of the cast members, they're playing characters in Black Post Spire, or Black Spire Outpost. And so it's just a fully immersive experience where you get to be in a land of Star Wars. And it was amazing. They only have one ride open right now, which is the Millennium Falcon ride, but we did get to go and see a full-size version of the Millennium Falcon, a full-size version of, I believe it's a silencer that Kylo Ren flies. We saw First Order Stormtroopers walking around. We saw some Rebels walking around. It was really good. But getting to this lightsaber, what's interesting, if you don't know, then is that they don't have a lightsaber shop there. You can't just go and say, hey, I want to build a custom lightsaber. They don't have that there. You have to, when you ask them about it, they'll be like, there's no place to do that here. This is all First Order. The First Order is all around here. Lightsabers, that's Jedi stuff. No, But if you ask for where the scrap shop is, because you're looking for some scrap, then they'll tell you where Savi's scrap shop is. And you go to Savi's and you say, hey, you know what? I'm just looking for some scrap. And they'll show you a couple of options for some scrap that you can look to buy, and you get, you pay your money, and then you go in, you sit, you wait to be ushered in, and that's when the whole thing starts. It was the first thing that we did in the day. When we first walked into the world, I didn't cry, even though it is something that I've been looking at. I may have gotten a little misty. But during the lightsaber build, as we're selecting our different pieces and our kyber crystals, and the inner child nerd is just like bursting forth, and during that whole thing, I know that I cried, and I will say that unabashedly I cried. I mean, it was an experience, and for a big Star Wars nerd like me, that was huge. So, but it kind of starts out with you selecting your kyber crystal, the color of the kyber crystal that you want. You put that into the hilt. I can do a whole breakdown of the lightsaber if you're interested in seeing it. Leave comments down below. So when you go in, you go around this big table, and the first thing that you do is you pick your kyber crystal, and they have a whole story that goes with this entire process. So they talk about the different aspects of the colors. They talk about what the kyber crystal is used for, and then you pick your kyber crystal, you put that down, and then they put before you a tray of parts. Those parts include your activation switch, your pommel, your emitter, your sleeves, and you go through the process of putting your kyber crystal into the chassis, and then your activation switch, and then you choose your sleeves, and then your emitter and your pommel. Once you get it all put together and you go to turn it on, you know, it just kind of makes a weird noise as if, you know, you haven't done anything yet and it's not working, and you place it on a stand, and then the helpers come around and they talk about stabilizing your lightsaber, and they've got an entire story and a show that goes along with this. You know, going through that entire process, you know, I mean, Disney is great about making it everything magical, and it really was. That's why I cried. I mean, it was, you know, it was everything that I kind of wanted it to be. It was amazing. And so then the helpers all come in, and, you know, they put your lightsaber into a stabilization chamber, and then when you're done, they tell everybody to put your hand on your handle and then activate, and then you activate it, and you get a, you know, whatever type of lightsaber that you whatever color you chose. It moves and it looks really darn good, and it's just such an amazing experience. They give you a bag to bring it out in, and we did that. And like literally as soon as I got out, we took some pictures with it because, you know, nerd. And then as I was putting it away, somebody came out and they were like, you know, hey, is it worth it? And I just kind of smiled at him because it was an I would say older, but he was probably, you know, fairly close to my age. But his kids and everything were there, and I just kind of smiled at him, and I took it off my shoulder and I pulled it out and I just showed it to him. I'm like, it's better to look at it than just to talk about it. And so it was an amazing experience. The whole thing, all of Galaxy's Edge was awesome. And then, you know, spending the day with my wife, celebrating her birthday. I mean, the whole day was an amazing experience. You know, from Galaxy's Edge to, you know, going into Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, and, you know, just, you know, riding the Matterhorn, which, you know, since we've never been to Disneyland, we haven't had a chance to do, and Tomorrowland and Hyperspace Mountain and Star Tours, and going to Pizza Planet, you know, from Toy Story, and, you know, really seeing all of some of our favorite movies come alive in that way. It was just amazing. And so Disneyland was a great experience. I wanted to share the building of my lightsaber with you. If you want to have kind of a more detailed look at it, just let me know. I'll make a video. Just thank you for sharing this experience with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to answer them. And thanks, and we'll see you soon.